These judges in the Comey case, the magistrate and then the full-fledged district court judge, are making it impossible to even continue with this case, in my humble opinion. The access to the grand jury information, which is really rare, 6E, you can read the federal rules online, that's supposed to be secret, unless the issue is something untoward was done during the course of this indictment. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. And they're trying to kill this thing before it's even really going to trial. Is another example. The attack on the U.S. attorney there, that her appointment is problematic. This has nothing to do with, as an example, Jack Smith, the rogue special prosecutor. In the case of this involving the Eastern District of Virginia, what's happened there is the Senate has, at least in the past, has not been taking up these votes. They pushed a whole bunch of them through, but in the meantime, the president had appointed an acting U.S. attorney and then extended the appointment, and so they're attacking that. Now, this has been done in, I believe, 2 or 3 other U.S. attorney districts without judges attacking it because they figure that's a separate issue, but not the judge in this case who was appointed by Obama. And so you can see what's going on right outside of Washington in the Eastern District, just how awful this is. Absolutely awful. And then they keep lecturing the prosecution about the faults that they've made. And, you know, over at National Review, they've got their man, Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, basically contributing to it every step of the way. I just strongly disagree with him on this. He's a good guy, don't get me wrong, but I strongly disagree. He seems very obsessed with this, but that's okay. You know, everybody's obsessed with something. But that's very problematic, what's going on in that courtroom to me and how these judges are ruling. It seems very obvious to me what's taking place. Then on this Epstein matter, I've told you folks from the very first moments, when it was being pushed by Marjorie Trader Green, when it's being pushed by little Ada Fuentes, when it's being pushing by Carlson this summer, when people were saying MAGA's going to implode, even had Bloated Bannon saying it when he's pretty much gone into the witness protection program because of all his communications with Epstein and the videos he won't release. But all that said, as I've told you over and over again, there hasn't been anything negative about Trump. Zero. And so the president today said, well, release it all then. Go ahead. He didn't want this as a distraction and so forth, and he also understood that there are many victims, and that many of them may not want their names released. And yes, there's actually victims who are not 5 and 8 years old, Megyn Kelly, and you can have victims who are 15 and 16 and older, and it's still pedophilia, and people can still be sold into sex slavery in effect. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I really don't. Are these legitimate views? The racism, the bigotry, anti-Christianity, anti-Semitism, basically trying to kind of take the edge off of pedophilia and so forth. What is going on here? Is this okay with you folks? It's not okay with me, and it's never going to be okay with me. But in any event, in the Epstein matter, there's nothing here that I'm aware of, that I can see. And the president is not acting like somebody who thinks there is, and the Biden regime didn't bring any leaks or anything of the kind. So I've told you from day one, we get caught up in these shiny objects, and we just keep chasing them. And a lot of this is due to these podcasters and phony influencers. They just need the hits, the grift. But a lot of it is also the corporate media, you know, fronting for the Democrat Party. Folks, I have a question for you. Do you believe America's best days are still ahead? With the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence coming up in less than a year, my friends at the Heritage Foundation are taking stock of the current situation, and they need your input. They've launched a survey on America's future to gauge how Americans feel right now about where we are as a nation and where we're headed in the next 250 years. You know, for decades, your American values have been under attack, but now, with President Trump's administration in office, we have an opportunity to turn the tide and usher in a new golden age for America. But the Heritage Foundation needs to hear from you. What policies do patriots like you most care about? What do you believe are the defining principles of America? What legacy do you believe we should pass on to the next generation? Please visit heritage.org/Levin today and share your feedback and help shape the future of America. That's heritage.org/LEVIN. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. You know, people are asking me, what do you think about what the president said about Tucker and Fuentes? You know, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what I posted. Little Adolf Nick Fuentes will always be a disgusting, vile piece of S. Nobody can change that. And Carlson will always be a loathsome lowlife, giving little Adolf a megaphone for his own repulsive bigotry and anti-Semitism, and nobody can change that. Nobody can protect them from themselves, period. More importantly, this is not who the American people are or ever will be. Despite the bots, despite, you know, the planted comments that go on and on and on, don't read those, don't even bother with them. We're the American people. We patriots are not going to surrender our country to these poisonous grifters and hate mongers. Not now, not ever. They are actively trying to destroy our movement, promote themselves, hand the country over to these Marxist, Islamist leftists and the Democrat Party. Make no mistake about it. But we will collapse if they succeed. And they're not going to succeed. Because I know who you are, Mr. and Mrs. America. You're not racists. You're not bigots. You're not anti-Christianity. You're not anti-Semites. You root for America during wars, including World War II, our greatest generation. You don't embrace Hitler over Churchill. And I can go on and on and on. That's not us. That's not who we are. That'll never be us. It'll never be who we are. Red-blooded Yanks. We didn't fight these wars at great cost to surrender this country at home to the enemy within, whether Marxists, Islamists, or neo-fascists. And isn't it precious that these people say to me, the things you are calling us and saying about us is dangerous, when they're out there calling me, every Jew, every Christian, every black, every Hispanic, and on and on and on, the most horrendous things and the most horrendous names. All they have to do is stop. All they have to do is stop. But they won't. They can't. And all the politicians who get caught up with them, you will be defeated, and you will be defeated badly. And those politicians who have moral strength, who embrace the American people and our founding, you will succeed. You will succeed. But nobody can fix Fuentes. Nobody can fix Carlson. Or for that matter, Kelly, or Bannon, or that clown Alex Jones, who already had his ass kicked in Connecticut by a judge, by families of little kids who were slaughtered in a horrific way in an elementary school. That's his head. That's where his mind is. These people are not difficult to confront. They're not. Because they're very evil. They don't understand you, the American people. I do. And I thank God every day that we, the American people, share the same morals, ethics, principles, beliefs, and value systems. I thank God every day for that.